Okay, here we go. We were just chilling in our living room, place we'd made in Brooklyn. Used to be buzzing with life. Now felt colder than a New York winter night. Sarah looked at me. No fire, no tears. Just this blank stare that just messed with my head. Voice smooth, almost like she'd practiced it. She dropped it. John, I don't need you anymore. I'm better off alone. My brain just froze, like a subway car screeching to a halt. What are you saying? I asked, like maybe I'd heard it wrong, but she just doubled down. I want out. This whole marriage thing, it's not doing it for me. Been thinking about this for a while. Words hit me like a runaway taxi. Air got sucked out of the room. I searched her face for a flicker of doubt. Anything, but nada. She wasn't pissed, wasn't even sad, just done. How long had she been cooking this up while I was clueless? Sarah, come on. I tried to reason, voice cracking like cheap china. Years, we've been together for years. We built this life. If something's broken, we can fix it. You can't just trash it all. Didn't care if I sounded desperate, 'cause I was. Losing everything was staring me in the face. Her answer was ice cold, just like her eyes. That's the thing, John. I don't want to fix it. My mind's made up. Gotta focus on me now. She stood up, walked towards the bedroom, leaving me sitting there like an idiot. Surreal. That's the only word. This was Sarah. Woman I loved, trusted, told everything to. And now she's saying I'm not in her picture anymore. Days after, just a blur. She was like a machine, packing boxes, splitting our stuff. Even drafted an email about the split like it was some business deal. Zero emotion from her side. Felt like I was grieving someone who was still walking around, and what's worse, she didn't even seem to notice. Night. She finally left. Apartment was dead quiet. No goodbye. Just a flat take care as she walked out with her bags. Sat there in the silence of our suddenly empty place, trying to wrap my head around what just happened. Rewound every moment, every conversation, trying to find the missed signs. What did I do wrong? What didn't I do? First night alone was brutal. Couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Just sat there drowning in anger, confusion, sadness. Felt like my whole world had imploded. But looking back, that night, that was the start of something bigger. Something I never saw coming. Days after she bailed were pure torture at first. Silence in the apartment was deafening. Every creak of the floor, hum of the fridge, sounded like a gunshot. But even as I was sinking in my own misery, something inside me told me to be curious. Gotta figure out how she was doing in this better-off alone life she was so hyped about. That curiosity, though, twisted into something else. It started with a phone buzz. Still hadn't unfollowed her on Insta. Wasn't ready for that cut yet. She'd dropped a picture. Huge smile, wine glass in hand, surrounded by people at some rooftop bar. Caption: Cheers to new beginnings. Comments blew up, everyone cheering her freedom, new chapter. Felt like a knife in the gut. Next few days, more of the same. Sarah living this life that screamed, look how awesome I am without you. Fancy brunches, weekend getaways upstate, yoga sessions, even a pic with a crew I'd never seen, all smiles and carefree laughs. If she was trying to paint a picture of perfect new life, she nailed it. Gotta be real. It stung. While she was flaunting her freedom, I was picking up the pieces, haunted by what-ifs and whys. But something about how perfect her posts were, it just felt off. Too polished, too calculated. This wasn't the Sarah I married. She hated yoga. Rooftop bars. She used to call them pretentious. None of it felt real. Then the whispers started. Mutual friend hit me up, hesitant but worried. "Hey, don't mean to pry," they started. "But is Sarah okay? She's been out like every night, just seems off." First crack in the perfect image she was pushing. Wasn't just me seeing something was up, then the stories about her new crew. From what I pieced together, not exactly the supportive type. Parties till dawn. Questionable guys. Felt like she was trying way too hard to prove something. Maybe to herself, maybe to me. But what really got to me wasn't just her suddenly being a social butterfly. It was the contrast. While she was out there plastering over whatever hole she was feeling, I was here, finding some peace in the quiet. Yeah. Wasn't living some Insta-worthy life, but there was something honest about my pain. Raw, but real. Turning point hit when someone sent me a photo from one of her nights out. Not posing, not smiling. Just looked lost, staring off into nowhere, drink untouched. For a second, felt pity, but that quick turned into realization. Her new life wasn't about thriving. It was about running. Running from what? I didn't know yet. But it wasn't freedom she'd found. It was avoidance. Irony was thick. She left saying she was better off without me. But everything she did screamed the opposite. While she was spinning in this whirlwind of distractions, I was taking baby steps towards rebuilding my life. Quiet, but steady. First time, I saw the cracks in her act, and maybe, just maybe, some strength in myself. That picture of her lost in the crowd, it stuck with me. Wasn't just the picture, but what it showed. The perfect life she was selling was starting to crumble, even if just in these tiny moments. And while I wasn't digging for dirt, pieces of the puzzle started falling in my lap, showing a picture way different than her online highlight reel. Started simple. Coworker, seen us together 1,000,000 times at office parties, casually asked about her at the coffee machine. "How's Sarah doing? Saw her the other night at that new spot downtown. Didn't look too great." Tried to play it cool. Just mumbled something vague about us not being together anymore. But his words hung in the air. Wasn't the first time someone mentioned seeing her out, and the stories all had the same vibe. Late nights, too much booze, and this worn-out look no filter could hide. Then the message came. From one of her old friends, someone she'd been tight with for years, but had drifted from lately. "Hey, don't mean to overstep," it started, "but I'm worried about Sarah. She's been acting weird, and I thought you should know." Attached, screenshot of a text exchange they'd had. In it, Sarah admitted she was hurting way more than she let on. Talked about feeling alone, unsure if she'd made the right call. Reading those words, weird mix of feelings hit me. Part of me felt vindicated. Proof her freedom wasn't the win she wanted everyone to think. But another part felt this unexpected sadness. Despite everything, I didn't want her to be miserable. Just wished she'd been honest about how she really felt instead of fronting like she was untouchable. More, I heard. Clearer the picture got. Her new social life wasn't just fun and freedom. It was a mask for deeper problems. Financially, she was sinking. She totally underestimated how much that lifestyle cost. Nights out, designer stuff, weekend trips, not cheap, especially now she didn't have the financial safety net we'd built together. Her new crew? Even worse. Friends mentioned growing drama in her circle. These weren't real friends, people who had her back, just randoms, fickle and opportunistic. One friend told me about a night after some stupid fight. Her friends bailed, left her stranded, had to call an Uber at 2 a.m. Not exactly the independence she was bragging about. But what really hit home was coffee with another mutual friend. "I don't think she knows who she is right now," they said. "She's trying so hard to be someone else, someone she thinks she should be, and it's just not working." That clicked, explained everything I'd seen. Wasn't just trying to impress the world. She was trying to convince herself. Meanwhile, while her life was spiraling, mine started going the opposite way. Wasn't chasing distractions, wasn't hiding from the pain. Faced it head on, and in doing that, started to rebuild. Got back to the gym, focused on work, reconnected with real friends, people who actually cared. Wasn't broadcasting my progress on social media. Didn't need to. Quietly, steadily, I was getting my confidence back, building a life that felt whole again. More I learned about her mess, clearer it became. The life she left behind wasn't the problem. It was her running away from her own unhappiness. First time I realized I wasn't the one who needed to change. Cracks in her perfect life got too big to ignore. Finances were way worse than I thought. She had to ditch that fancy apartment after leaving me. Couldn't keep up with the rent or the lifestyle she thought she needed. Downsizing wasn't just a choice. It was reality. Her Insta posts, once constant, became random, defensive. Sometimes life just challenges you to grow. One caption read, with a pic of an empty coffee cup and a journal. Likes and comments dried up. Crowds she used to hang with moved on. As her carefully built world crumbled, I saw the sharp difference between us. She was just surviving, barely hanging on, while I was actually thriving in ways I never expected. Biggest shock came when a mutual friend let something slip. She regrets leaving, they said. She thought she'd find freedom, but all she found was emptiness. Those words stuck. Not 'cause I wanted her back, but 'cause they confirmed what I'd suspected. The freedom she chased was a fake, a mirage that vanished when she got close. Then one day, her name popped up on my phone. Simple message, "Can we talk?" Hesitated. Curiosity won. Agreed to meet. Quiet cafe near my office. Place we used to go during our marriage. She was already there when I walked in, nervously stirring untouched coffee. Looked different. Tired. Fragile. Confident, carefree act was gone. "I'm sorry," she started, before I even sat down. "I know I don't deserve your time, but I need to say this." Just nodded for her to go on, kept my face neutral. Wasn't going to make it easy. She spilled it all out. Rambling mix of apologies, confessions. Admitted she'd underestimated how much she leaned on me, not just money, but emotionally too. "I thought I needed to be alone to find myself," she said, voice breaking. "But all I found was how much I threw away." She talked about the tough times, friends who vanished, money problems, nights alone wondering what went wrong. "It wasn't you," she said quietly. "It was me." Listened without interrupting, felt nothing, no satisfaction, no anger, Just nothing. Her words, even though they sounded real, didn't change anything for me. Too little, too late. Then came the line I guess I should have seen coming. "I want us to try again," she whispered. "I know I don't deserve it, but I want to fix what I broke. Please." Reached across the table like she was going to take my hand, but I pulled back. "I can't," I said, just like that. She froze, face falling apart. "You're sorry now, and I believe you mean it. But I've spent the last few months rebuilding my life, and I've realized something. I'm better off without you." Words felt like they should hurt her, but they seemed to land with this weird kind of acceptance. She nodded, eyes watering. "I understand," voice barely there. I had to try." Sat there for a minute in silence, then I stood up to leave. "Take care of yourself," I said, and walked out. Stepped outside, felt this weird sense of closure. Not satisfying, not like I thought it would be weeks ago, but freeing. I'd given her her say, and I'd made my choice. Walking back to the office, what hit me was how light I felt. Weight of her leaving, the confusion, the anger, all gone. Wasn't tied to her anymore. Not by anger, not by love, not by regret. Free to focus on the life I was building, a life that had no room for someone who didn't see my worth when it mattered. And that, I realized, was the best thing that could have happened. Walking away from that cafe, didn't look back. Weight of that meeting didn't stick. Instead, it left me with a clarity I didn't expect. First time in forever. Felt totally in control. Chapter with her was closed. No bitterness. Just a calm sense of finality. Wasn't angry anymore. Definitely wasn't sad. I'd just outgrown her. And the life I'd built without her was proof. That night, looked back on everything since she left. The pain, confusion, nights wondering where I screwed up. All of it, as much as it hurt, had been necessary. Forced me to really look at myself, rebuild not just my routine, but my confidence, my sense of self. And doing that, I found something amazing. I was capable of way more than I ever gave myself credit for. Next morning, woke up with this crazy energy. Had a big presentation at work, been prepping for weeks, and had killed it. Boss pulled me aside after, hinted at a promotion coming soon. Wasn't just the work win, though. It was how I felt giving that presentation. Confident, capable, like I was finally the person I always wanted to be. Later that day, text from her. Just a simple, "Thank you for listening." Didn't reply. Nothing left to say. Getting back into it would just tie me to a past I'd already left behind. Instead, turned my attention to something, or someone, who'd been a bright spot lately. This woman at work. Been getting to know her, younger, full of life, sharp wit, and this genuine kindness that felt amazing. Not someone I'd expected to connect with, let alone date, but our chats had become the best part of my day. That night, we had dinner plans. First time in years. Felt real excitement about what could be next. Getting ready for the date. Glanced in the mirror. Guy looking back wasn't the same dude who begged his wife not to walk out. Wasn't the guy who spent nights scrolling her social media, trying to make sense of her new life. That guy was gone. In his place, someone stronger, more solid, and most of all, happier. Dinner was easy. laughing, talking about everything, work, travel. Felt so different. No shadows of the past hanging over me. No comparing it to what was before. This was new, fresh, and totally on my terms. Got home later. Couldn't stop thinking about how far I'd come in just a few months. The version of me who sat in that silent, empty apartment after she left, he'd never believe this, Eves. But now, looking around at the place I'd made for myself, a space that felt like mine, filled with things I loved, I just smiled. She'd been right about one thing, I realized. I was better off alone. But not how she thought. Wasn't stuck in loneliness or bitterness. I was thriving, building a life I was proud of, connecting with people who actually valued me. Didn't regret meeting her, didn't regret letting her go. In the end, her leaving was the best thing that ever happened, 'cause it gave me the chance to find myself again. And maybe, just maybe, someone even better.